Everyone, hope that you all are doing well. Today's video we learn to implement OAuth 2.1 with Spring Security 6 and integration with Google. In my previous video we were implementing OAuth with the previous Spring Security versions. The link would be in the I button and in the description. You can go and check that out. So today we'll be implementing an example integrating Google with OAuth 2.1 and with Spring Security. But before we jump into the video's context, I would like to request you, if you people find my videos knowledgeable, please do hit like, share and comment on the videos, and if new to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell. Start implementing a project. So first of all, let me give you a background. Whenever the versions are being changed, like when the Spring version is being updated, the security version is being updated, and along with that the implementations are being changed for the OAuth as well. So the version is being changed now to OAuth 2.0, and now it is OAuth 2.1. So the versions are being upgraded, right? So when the versions are being upgraded, there are some changes in the code syntax, that how you should implement. So let's start by creating a project. Let me go on project, the Spring Start OAuth 2 dot implementation, right? So we'll be naming the project as Spring OAuth 2.1 implementation. The Java version is 21 and the packages are com.code with implementation, right? So let's go next and let's choose the dependencies. So we are working with OAuth 2, so we need the Spring Security, right? So version with Spring 3.3.3, the Spring Security version would be 6, right? And then we need the Spring Web, as we'll be dealing with the controllers as well. So controller calls would be there, so we need the Spring Web dependency as well. Then we are also showing the UI to the user, so we need the HTML pages. For that we need theme leaf dependency. And as we are implementing OAuth 2, then we need the OAuth 2 client as well, right? So these are the 4 dependencies that we require, right? So let me do next and let me import the project. So yes, my project is imported. Let's first go to the pom.xml and check the dependencies that we have. This is my pom.xml, and you can see that we have Java version 21, we have OAuth 2 client dependency, right? Then we have Spring Security dependency, then theme leaf, then Spring Starter dependencies, Spring Starter web dependencies, right? So these are the dependencies that we require in our project. And so now what we can do is we will simply start with a coding example. We have the main class. Now let me make 2 packages. One for the config package, right? That will contain our Spring Security configuration, and the other one the controller package, right? So let me create another package, that is controller package. So now first let's go to the config package and start writing the Spring Security config. So let me say new class and let's say Spring Security. Let me name the class as security, right? Let me finish. So let me first mark this as enable web security for Spring Security, right? And then we just need a bean of writing a filter chain method, right? So let me say @bean and let me say public security filter chain, right? Security filter chain, and we'll be passing the HTTP security, right? HTTP security, or rather HTTP. So we don't have the need to create the users in the Spring Security, as it's just a simple login application wherein we'll be logging through the Google, right, using the OAuth 2. So here just we need the filter chain method, that which URL will be taking us to which page, and what permissions are required for that URL, and what security is being needed for that URL, right? So we need to define that in this security filter chain method. So let's write http dot authorize request, right? And we'll say authorize request, let's say authorize request, and we'll say authorize request dot request matcher, right? And in the request matcher we have to give the request URLs that we'll be passing. So we can give request URL as / and we can give the request URL as /login, and we'll say permit all, right? Permit all to this, and dot authenticated, right? Authenticated, and then we'll say OAuth 2 login, OAuth 2 log, and here we'll say OAuth, and let me take it down. Let me say, remove this. Let me say OAuth dot login dot for success URL, right? Default success URL would be, let's say, home, and we'll say true, right? So this is true for every time. Then we'll say dot logout object of logout dot logout dot done, right? So it needs some declaration. So let me say exception has been there. We are using the deprecated method, but we need the authorized HTTP request, and now it's good, right? So we are not using the deprecated one, right? So this is the security filter chain that we have written, that if it's a slash call or a slash login call, the person would be getting a OAuth 2 login, right? OAuth 2 login will be depicted by what all properties we have supplied in our application.properties, right? If we have our Google client secret client ID there, then it will take us to the Google login, right? So it will take us to the Google login, and there you have to input your email ID and password, and from that your success page would be home, right? So slash home would be your success page, and success page would be shown to you after your login. So this is the simple security filter chain that we have written, right, for OAuth. So now this is my Spring Security. Now what we have to do is, to run this code, we need a controller too. So let me define a home controller, right? So let me say a class, and we'll name it as home controller, right? So in the home controller, let me first mark it as controller and controller, right? So let me say home controller, and we have marked it as controller. So let me give a method that is public, and we'll return string, as we'll be returning an HTML page, and we'll say home, right? And this is a get mapping, right? So let me say that the get mapping would be slash home, right? So whenever the person hits localhost slash home, then it will go to this controller and return a page. So let me say return a home HTML, right? So this is the method that I have made to test the application, right? Or rather, we can expand a little bit, right? Let me take a model. Let me take authentication principle, right? And we'll take OAuth 2 user. So we have OAuth 2 user class. Let me say user, right? So what we can do is, we can have model dot add attribute, and we can add the attribute as name, say user dot get attribute, right? So the attribute that we need is a name, right? There is a method called get at. This method we will be using to get the name, the method that we will be getting to get the name, right? So this is how you can make a controller to test your application of OAuth 2, right? Now we need some properties in our application.properties, right? So let me go into application.properties, and we have to write some properties. So basically the client secret and client ID that we generated for the OAuth 2 implementation, 2.0 implementation, generation process is same, right? So there is nothing different in that. You can go on the Google Cloud Console, and you can generate your client secret and client ID by going on the API and services, right? So I have already generated it. If you want to learn that how to generate it, I'll give the link in the description and in the I button. You can click and go and check that video. I have generated the client secret and client ID in that video, and also integrated it with OAuth 2.0, right? So now we are implementing OAuth 2.1. So I have already generated the client ID and client secret. I won't be going and generating it again. So let me put the properties that are required. These are our properties that are required, right? So this is my client ID, client secret, right? And then we have scope, redirect URL. We have the authorization grant type. We give the authorization code. So this is new. This property is new. That is not there in the OAuth 2 implementation. We are giving client authentication method, and the value is client underscore secret underscore post, right? Then we have the authorization URL, then we have the token URI, user info URI, and then the username attribute, right? So if you find, you might find few of the properties new. So that is what OAuth 2.1 has given us new in the implementation, right? So it has also made a little more simpler in implementation rather than OAuth 2.0, right? So these are my properties. Now we are complete with the coding part. Let me go to our main class and let me run the application. So let me run the app. So my application has started, right? You can see the started application. So let's go on the browser and let's hit the URL localhost 88/home, right? So let's hit this URL. So you can see that I have hit the URL of /home, but it has internally redirected me to the OAuth 2 login. So OAuth 2 login was provided for Google. So that's why it has taken me to the Google login page, right? So if I say that I want to log in with my account, so it will ask for few permissions, and if I continue, it will take me to a HTML showing my name, right? So let's wait for the output to come. So it says white label error. What? Oh, sorry. We haven't made the HTML. Sorry. So it is saying that the template is not present. Sorry, we didn't create an HTML. So let me go and first create an HTML. So let me say new, and let me say other, and let me say HTML file, and let me name the HTML file as home.html, right? So this is my basic HTML that I have made, right? So it says that it is a home application, right? Home page, and we are giving the name of the user, welcome, and the name of the user, and the logout button, right? So this is a basic HTML that we have made. My mistake that I didn't make a HTML to return, right? So this error is being there, right? Error resolving the template home. So the template might not exist or maybe missing, right? So let me close the application and let me run the application again. So let me run the application again. So my application has started, right? So now let's again go to the browser and let me again say /home. So it will ask me to log in, right? So if I try and log in with my email ID, let me click on my account. So it will ask for few permissions. You have to say continue, and it will take you to the HTML file that we have made, right? So it is on /home, right? So it says welcome Ramanpreet Singh, right? And it gives me a logout button, right? So this was it from this video, right? It was a small implementation, right? A small example integrating with Spring Security 6 OAuth 2.1, right? So we'll make another video on custom login along with OAuth 2.1, right? So this was it from this video. Hope that you people like, share, and comment on the video, and if new to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Hope to see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.